It is 4:01, and I'll call this NUCS board meeting to order. Let's all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
You already standing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. They have that tacked up.
I
so
figured,
it's
it
not-
just had
it's
dawned
not
on me what I didn't.
a nuisance factor. And down. And then 1.2. The agenda. Items to be removed or changes. Are there any changes or alterations to the agenda as posted?
I don't have any.
No. Anybody else? No? Is there a motion?
I move we accept the agenda as posted.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Rosemary?
I,
Jeff?
Aye.
I also approve. Motion carries. Agenda is as posted. But just before we get on to the consent agenda, Bianca is not with us. She thought she might be able to be with us, but audio only. She had her second Moderna shot, and she's one of those individuals that the second shot hits you hard. And so she's decided that it's in everybody's best interest that she continue to rest in anticipation of being with us tomorrow. So consent agenda 2.1, consideration of approval of warrants and payroll for NU Humboldt Charter School. 2.2, consideration of approval of warrants and payroll for NU Siskiyou Charter School batches 0506, 05117, 0524, 0607. 2.3, consideration of approval of minutes for the April 29th, 2021 and May 13th, 2021 board meeting. 2.4, consideration of resignations, hires, leaves, and changes of assignments. Are there any questions, corrections, alterations to consent agenda items?
I just wanted to point out one thing. You guys may notice that April 29th, you might think I saw that before. That's because it was on last month's agenda, but it wasn't included in the packet. And none of us noticed that. Last month, there were two in there, two for April, and April 29th, where it wasn't in there. And you guys made the motion and voted and approved it. But then when Kirk went to put it on the website, he's like, I can't find the minutes. And then, and we looked and it's like, sure enough, we didn't include it in the packet.
Wow,
So that's why it's in here again.
that's kind of nice.
I let you down.
The hawk missed one.
Rosemary.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Rosemary?
Aye.
Jeff?
All right.
And I also approve, consented agenda approved. Item 3, the public comments. On items not on the agenda. Under this item, the public is invited to address the board regarding items that are not on tonight's agenda. Please keep your comments concise, brief, and limited to 3 minutes. The board is not allowed under the law to take action on matters that are not on the agenda. Should comments from the public pertain to a charge or complaint against an employee of Northern United Humboldt Charter School or Northern United Siskiyou Charter School, the board encourages the speaker to utilize the district's written complaint procedures to pursue the matter. The public will have an opportunity to comment on all agenda items as those are heard this evening. Are there any comments? Anybody like to make a comment on an item that's not on the agenda? No. All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Item number 4, public hearings. We have quite a few to go through. Hope I get this right. So 4.1, public hearing is 2022 Education Protection Account Expenditure Plan for Northern United Humboldt Charter School. And at this time, 4:08, I will open the public hearing for that item.
Want me to talk about it at this point?
Sure.
Okay, so I don't really have anything more to say than what's in your
In the packet.
background information.
I lost everybody, does that matter?
Oops.
That's weird. I don't know.
You want me to go get him before he is?
Well, I mean, it's just on that computer for some reason.
There
They're
you
still
go.
on here. Yeah. If you want to go expand it. Sorry about that, you guys. We have a little technical glitch here. So Prop 31 created the EPA Education Protection Account, and this is a new fund. Well, it's not really new. It's from 2012 that of revenue that schools get from Prop 30. And part of the requirement of this receiving these funds are the board adopts a resolution that essentially says we promise that we will spend this money only on things that we're allowed to spend the money on, which is pretty much anything instructional but not administrator salaries. So no administrator salary can come from this fund. So the board has to adopt a resolution and an expenditure plan saying how we're going to spend the money. In addition, at the same time, we give a report on how we spent the money for this current year. And so that's why you see 2 different expenditure plans along with the resolution. One was for how we spent the money this year, and one is for how we propose to spend the money next year. And for both schools, we always spend the money in the same way, and that is teacher salaries.
And we have to spend the money. It completely has to be 0 each year. Is it
We have to
0?
spend every penny of it every year. So that's it.
Any questions or comments?
And this is, you're required to hold a public hearing to let public comment on how you plan to spend the money. And then after, a later item, you actually adopt it. So there's no action here. It's just a public hearing at this time.
Okay, hearing no further comments, I will, it's 4:11. I will close the public hearing on the 2021-22 Education Protection Account Expenditure Plan for Northern United Humboldt Charter School. 4.2, I'll open the public hearing for, and still 4:11. The 2021-2022 Education Protection Account Expenditure Plan for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School. And the same reasoning, explanation applies to this one as it did to the one for Humboldt Charter School. Is there any additional thing that our director would like to say?
That's it,
Or our
public.
accountants? No,
I'm sorry.
no, that's all right. Any comments from anybody? No? Okay, then at this time I will close 4:12 the public hearing for the 2021-2022 Education Protection Account Expenditure Plan for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School. At this time, 4:12, I will open the public hearing for the 2021-2022 final budget adoption for Northern United Humboldt Charter School. So,
And this is just a requirement when adopting the final budget, you're required to have a public hearing on the budget to give the public an opportunity to make any comments on how the school will be spending our money next year. So the part of these public hearings is that these documents are prepared in advance and available for the public to see in advance, and then tonight they would be able to give any kind of comment on it. That's the purpose of these public hearings.
Is, once that date is passed, there's no other comments can be made, correct?
Well, so a member of the public can come to any board meeting at any time and make comments.
Okay,
The only difference is this is the time where we could actually take any kind of action on it. We could make any changes. If somebody came with some brilliant idea and we said, yes, we should put that in the budget. We have like, a very
Right.
small window. We have to adopt our budget by June 30th.
right,
So if somebody made a comment after June 30th, we can't unadopt.
okay,
But remember, we have first interim and second interim where we kind of update the budget. So
Right.
things can
Okay.
always change.
okay.
definitely there are multiple opportunities, not only for just this item, but many of the business items that we deal with throughout the year that for the public to address us, ask questions, provide new information, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
the way we roll. Tammy, want to make it?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me very?
I can.
Can you guys hear me over there?
You should come closer to the Zoom if you want to say
Okay.
something.
It is a little bit fuzzy, your
Okay,
voice.
I would come closer, yeah. just pull your chair.
just pull the chair
Yeah. Have a seat at the table.
up. Come and join us.
Okay, so for the new members, Jeff, Melissa.
Tammy, are you gonna do because that's tomorrow's agenda.
Oh, what am I doing?
This is just a public hearing.
This is just, okay,
Yeah,
so this,
yeah. You don't have to do that
yeah,
tonight.
this is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hi guys, how are you?
I-
Because they don't actually vote on it till
Right,
tomorrow.
and so I'll go over all of this tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the minutes are reflecting that you kicked Tammy.
To the curb, if you can put that
Okay, at this time, 4:15, I will close the public hearing on the 2021-2022 final budget adoption for Northern United Humboldt Charter School. And moving on to opening 4:16, the public hearing for the 2021-2022 final budget adoption for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School.
I would love to make a comment there. And that comment is, this is our first budget adoption in history that we got on time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, technically, yes, on time.
Mhm.
You know, they got it
We
in,
didn't have to
by
go by
the
the
deadline.
deadline.
Not like
No, they got it in. I'm not even 100% sure. I'd have to go back and look at the email. It may have been after 4
Yeah,
that they got it in on the day that
Wow.
it had to be.
yeah, I
But
mean,
we're not having special board meetings
No,
made up
Exactly.
just for it.
no.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great, grand improvement.
Melissa, for your benefit, previous years, the Siskiyou budget never came to us in a timely fashion.
I remember
And
hearing you guys saying that, so.
yes, and that's provided some consternation with that County Office of Education to continue to do our budget. And, and then after, especially after Sherry had received communication from the county superintendent that he had heard that there has been issues. We decided collectively to give him one more chance, so to speak. This definitely bodes well for them, but it's only one example, and it was just kind of sketchy anyway. Meeting the letter of the law requirement.
I just checked. They got it to us at 3:45 and
No
4
way.
o'clock was the day.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
see, there you go.
But they made the deadline.
They did.
I mean, I'm really jazzed that they tried and they did it.
Sure. Sure.
And I have to point out though, one thing, they emailed it to me. And
Right. And
so
Vivian,
Sherry
our
didn't get it.
council,
That's
not
why
me,
she
and
didn't
not
get it in
Vivian.
the packet, because I didn't let her know that I had received it. It sat in my inbox for like 15 or 20 minutes before I let her know that I had received it. And we need to just let them know to make sure to always send those things to her and not to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tammy, so yeah, we've let them know many times.
Yeah.
Cool, good.
Good. Any other comments? All right, so at this time, 4:19, I will close the public hearing for the 2021-2022 final budget adoption for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School. And then moving on to opening, still 4:19, the public hearing for the 2021-2022 local control and accountability plan with budget overview for parents, LCAP, LCP annual update for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
That's a mouthful.
Yes.
Again, it's just a requirement that we hold a public hearing on this document to give the public an opportunity to make any comments on it while there's still an opportunity to change it prior to us adopting it tomorrow.
Clock is ticking.
Yeah, if a member of the public came at this time to give us something to change, I'd be burning the midnight oil.
Yeah. Any comments, questions from anybody? All right. It's 4:20. I will close the public hearing for the 2021-2022 local control and accountability plan with budget overview for parents, LCAP, and LCP annual update for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
You sounded like you were getting tired.
And
You barely made it.
and finally,
Not to be outdone.
4:21, I'll open the public hearing for 2021-2022 local control and accountability plan with budget overview for parents, LCAP, LCP, annual update for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School. And it's the same background information.
I gave the background information for that as well. You'll notice that the Humboldt LCAP has 2 goals and the Siskiyou LCAP has 3 goals. And that's just a direct result of stakeholder feedback, really. I mean, it's, it is a local document. So the locals in Siskiyou had an opinion on that, and the locals in Humboldt had an opinion on that. And so it ultimately ends up with, two distinct documents, which is what's supposed to happen.
It should be that way.
Mhm.
Any comments, questions, statements? Okay, at this time, 4:22, I'll close the public hearing for 2021-2022 local control and accountability plan with budget overview for parents, LCAP, LCP, annual update for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School. See, I did that. Okay. Action items to be considered. So 5.1 is approval of education protection account resolution and 2021-2022 EPA planned expenditures for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
So just to point out, we did all those public hearings just now. We did the public hearings for this, the EPA. We did the public hearings for the budget. We did the public hearings for the LCAP. The EPA does not require a 24-hour period between public hearing and adoption. So that's why we're adopting it now. But like the LCAP, that does require that those things not happen at the same meeting. You can't have the public hearing at the same meeting you adopt it. So that's why we're adopting this now and not the others, just kind of an FYI. But this is basically the same as what I said during the public hearing. This is the resolution that does require action by the board, and I'll need board signatures from everybody on this document. And so this is how we're going to spend the money. And so in Humboldt, we're receiving, well, let me just say, current year, we got $74,840, and we spent it all on instruction, which was teacher salary. And for next year, we're getting $70,512. And again, it'll all be spent on instruction, so teacher salary. And that is our expenditure plan and our report out on how we spent the money this year. No administrator salaries were covered by this fund.
It's about 2 teachers that are paid out of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Total teacher cost?
Whatever that is.
70, yeah,
It's
70.
usually 2 teachers that are like a point something,
To equal that amount.
Any questions or comments? All right, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the education protection account resolution and 2021 through 22 EPA planned expenditures for NUCS.
And I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Rosemary?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I also approve. Motion carries. Moving on to 5.2, approval of education protection account resolution and 2021-2022 EPA planned expenditures for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School.
So the only difference here is the dollar amount that the school receives. So for 2021, we received $27,704. Again, it was all spent on teacher salary. And the assumption for 21-22 is, again, we'll receive $27,704, and it will all be spent on teacher salary instruction.
Is that unusual that it would be the exact dollar amount
Yes,
2 years in
that's
a
what I
row?
And, oh, yeah, Tammy comments on that every year so far with Siskiyou. That's what
I
has
said, that's
happened.
wrong. That can
Yeah,
be-
and every year we reach out and say, really, it's the same. I did it again this year. And they said, yep,
It's nutty.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we're
Nothing's-
not
nothing
sure
stays the
why
same.
in Siskiyou, they have it be the exact same to the dollar, at Humboldt,
Right.
it's never the same.
Oh,
huh,
interesting.
Because I always thought it was driven by ADA.
The students that you have.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
you're right.
huh,
That makes more sense.
Well, it's driven by the students you have, but also I think the taxes that were collected.
Yes.
So, you know, I don't know how it would always be exactly the
Yes,
same
I
dollars.
mean, you think that's gotta change every year? Oh,
Which it does.
hmm.
Any other comments? Any questions? Is there a motion?
So I'll make a motion that we approve the approval of education protection account resolution and 2021-2022 EPA planned expenditures for NUSCS.
I'll second that.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye,
Jeff,
Aye.
I also approve. Motion carries.
And so Melissa, after these guys will sign them tonight, and then I'll mail them. Do you want me to mail them directly to your house for you to sign and then send back to me?
I guess that would be the easiest, yeah.
Okay. Either that, or I suppose you could sign one just that hasn't been signed by everybody else, and I could put them all together too.
Okay, I could do that. Just print up this document.
Yeah.
or-
For the Humboldt one and the Siskiyou one, and you can just sign it, and then you can just mail it to me, and I'll attach it to this one.
Okay. I'll
Okay,
do
thank you.
Speedier that way.
Yeah, be faster that way.
All right. 5.3, approval of the HERC agreement for 2021-2022 for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
It's so nice to have this back again. You might remember that we didn't do it this year because of the deferrals. We knew there was going to be a cash flow issue.
sure.
And so it has definitely been missed. So I'm excited to be able to present this to you this year. And for those of you who don't know, HERC is actually kind of a lending library that Humboldt County Office of Education has. And they offer a lot of different services through their, through that. It's not just a lending library, but they have a lot of resources. For one thing, courier service to bring things back and forth, which we weren't able to use at all this year. And then also they have learning specialists, which are kind of like content area specialists, like an expert in math, an expert in reading that we can access
Wow.
when we you do this contract.
That's cool.
Kirk?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious if there's a possibility that Siskiyou teachers might be able to join in on that, because Siskiyou County Office of Education has basically done away with their instructional media center, the similar, set up lending library, and also they paid for like California streaming and things like that we don't have access to anymore. So I don't know if HERC would allow us to add, teachers, but I don't see how they'd know if we all have the same email address, you know what I mean? But anyway, if you could check into that.
I'll look into that.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Rebecca. I didn't even know you were on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Remember we chose hide participants whose
So
Video.
Julie, are you still there too?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you just turned
Good.
your video off. That's why you dropped off. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
because I was eating and I didn't want to
Kirk,
Okay,
Or do you-
Rebecca answered my question. Thanks.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would take some looking into. I suppose that issue would be to a different county. But
Well, yeah, we probably wouldn't want to checkout materials. I'm just thinking of like California streaming and things like that, that we've
Yeah.
used in the past that we won't have access to anymore. And
Yeah,
that shouldn't really matter.
yeah, no, it shouldn't. So
Anyway.
Same organization.
Well, especially Kirk, you may remember that I think it was, maybe it was this year, but maybe it was last year. Actually, all of those were given for free by the state. And so even if you couldn't access them through HERC, I wonder if you could access them off the state's website, if they're still given for free right now. But anyway, Rebecca will look into it.
Okay.
My question is, with the dollar amount here, is that based on the size of the district, or is this a standard fee across the board for districts?
It is a standard. And so, you know, you can pick and choose. You can
Right.
do it a la carte if you want, or you can do it all.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep. It's one flat fee.
very valuable service,
really is.
especially for small
Yes. Yeah.
K-8 schools. All right, any further comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the HERC agreement for the 21-22 school year for NU Humboldt.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I also approve, motion carries. 5.4, approval of lease agreement for 1124 Pine Grove Drive, Mount Shasta, for 2021, 2022 for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School.
Okay, so this is the lease for our Pine Grove facility in Mount Shasta, and there was no increase to the rent for this year.
Questions, comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement for 1124 Pine Grove Drive, Mount Shasta, for the 2021-2022 school year.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I also approve. Motion carries. Moving on to 5.5. Approval of lease agreement for 427 Alder Street, Mount Shasta for 2021, 2022 for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School.
Okay, and so this is the lease for our facility in Mount Shasta that's on Alder Street, and there was an increase of $125 per month. And this increase was already considered when the budget was completed. So it is built into the budget already.
Good. Any comments? Questions? Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the lease agreement for 427 Alder Street, Mount Shasta, 2021 through 2022 for NUSCS.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I also approve. Motion carries. 5.6, approval of lease agreement for 423 South Broadway, Wairika for 2021, 2022 for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School.
Okay, again, this is our lease for 423 South Broadway. There was a $150 a month increase, and again, it was that was already built into our budget. So I'm recommending approval.
Why is there a drawing at the end of that?
You like that picture?
Very,
It's just-
very, yes.
It's part of the lease. This is Exhibit A.
Oh, yes, okay.
It's just a little diagram of the facility. facility.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there a motion?
I move we approve the lease agreement for 423 South Broadway, Wairika, 2021-22 school year for NUSCS.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
I also approve, motion carries. Moving on to 5.7, approval of lease agreement for 505 South Broadway, Wairika, 2021-2022 for NUSCS.
Again, this is our lease for 505 South Broadway, which is across the street from 423. And the rent did increase $200 a month. Again, it was built into our budget. All of these, so of the 4 leases in Siskiyou, 1 stayed the same. The other 3 had increases, and those 3 increases were all included in the budget.
No man.
Darn. I like visuals.
No picture?
Any questions or comments? Thank you, Sherry, for the information. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement for 505 South Broadway, Wairika for the 2021-2022 school year for NU Siskiyou.
Is there a second?
Second.
I think Melissa was first.
Okay.
By just,
We have a tiebreaker.
by just a fraction of
Yeah,
this.
rock, paper, scissors.
So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
I also approve. Motion carries. Moving on to 5.8, approval of lease agreement for 72 The Terrace, Willow Creek for 2021-2022 for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
Okay, so this lease, now we're into the Humboldt leases. Those were the 4 Siskiyou leases. Now we're starting on the Humboldt leases that we needed to approve for this year. There was no increase to this lease, and this is one of our Willow Creek facilities. We have 2 in Willow Creek across the street from each other, one at 72 and one at 75, and this one is for 72, The Terrace.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement for 72 The Terrace, Willow Creek for school year 2021-2022 for NU Humboldt.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
I also approve, motion carries. 5.9, approval of lease agreement for 75 The Terrace, Willow Creek for the 2021-2022 for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
So this, I think, does warrant some explanation, because you'll notice that the increase is $11,000 a year. So what happened with this one, the lease for this one for current year is the nonprofit that is like kind of a fundraising organization that's associated with this particular program volunteered to pay the lease current year. So that's why, and so this year, we paid 1,000 of it, and the nonprofit paid the additional 11,000 out of their fundraising budgets for, that was for the 2021 school year.
Wow.
And they did that because of our cash flow issues. So now we're back to normal. So now we'll be back to 1,000 a month. So that's why $11,000 increase from one year to the next.
That's pretty cool.
But normally, this is what it would have been.
Okay.
that make sense?
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a 12, according to the lease agreement, it's a $12,000 per year
Correct.
agreement.
Right.
And we pay 1,000,
In 2021, we paid 1,000 and the nonprofit paid
Right.
11,000.
11,000. Okay,
And so for 21, 22, we'll pay the full 12,000.
gotcha. Okay.
So is the building actually being used 12 months out of the year for?
Yeah, we pay it monthly.
So, but for 3 months, there's nothing, no activity there?
That's how all of it.
Yeah, we have the facility, we have the use of the facility in the
Okay.
summer as well. And summer's only 2 months, not 3,
Okay.
but yeah, we have the use of the facility year-round.
Okay.
Is this one the, I was trying to visualize which
Yeah.
one was which. There's the one where there's the upstairs.
That,
and
it's
the-
not that,
It's,
it's the
okay,
one that doesn't have the upstairs.
okay, this is the one that had the various rooms where we met with the.
Exactly, kind of separate buildings, like one that's a big kind of like art gallery.
Right, right,
And
right.
then the other one that's like classrooms.
So the road is over here going west to east,
Mhm.
and 72 is on our left,
It's on
and
this,
75 is across the street on our right.
no, so
This
if the road is going, if the road's going west, east,
Yes.
75, this one is north. So
Yeah.
it would be
Is
on your
north,
side.
okay,
Yeah, it's on this side.
okay.
Because I'm maybe on this side, and
Yeah.
we walk across the street.
Walk
to-
across,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
okay.
72, the last one, that's the newer one. It's the one that was just built in the last couple years.
Very nice facilities,
Yeah.
both of them.
Super.
And also, I
Did I
don't know
get
if
a
I
chance
ever
to see it?
mentioned, but we did get, I don't know if you ever remember me talking about it, but these facilities, because they are so new, had to comply with like the newest codes and regulations regarding e-occupancy for buildings that are used for educational purposes. And they were not up to code because they weren't built to be educational buildings. And so over the course of the last year and a half, almost, a year and a half, we have been working on getting those up to code, and they have officially gotten e-occupancy.
Wow.
But it required taking drywall down in every room, putting up like fire break barrier, but between putting the drywall back up, putting sprinkler systems in every
Wow.
room. And so we had an architect who happened to be the parent or grandparent of a student enrolled there who volunteered their time to draw the plans. And then the grant we got, remember the public charter school grant we received? That's how we paid for a lot of the upgrades, because they allowed us to do
Wow.
like safety upgrades with that.
Wow.
So anyway, that's just a little, I don't know, background information on these two facilities.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Shirley. Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a
I'll ma-
motion. Go ahead, Melinda. Melissa.
I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement for 75 The Terrace, Willow Creek, 2021 through 22 for New Humboldt.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
I also approve, motion carries. Moving on to 510. Approval of lease agreement for 1539 F Street, Arcata for 2021, 2022 for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
Okay, this is also kind of a little different, a little odd. We did the same thing last round with this. Instead of doing a whole new lease, this landlord likes us to just write a letter requesting to extend the lease. So I had a meeting with this landlord and he asked that I do that same thing. And so I did, I wrote a letter and he responded, although you, I don't think have seen the response because he responded yesterday. agreeing to the letter. So that's the email. So I will attach those two things together. But anyway, so this one does have an increase. This one is an increase of $300 a month. And this one is actually, if you notice, this is a 3-year lease. So this wasn't just a 1 year. This was 2021 through 2024 or something.
Yeah.
So it looks like on the agenda, I have that wrong. Looks like I haven't, unless I fixed it at some point, I might. have to
So,
hold
so
it.
it won't go up
that
for
is
3 years?
incorrect.
Correct, it's gonna
Right.
stay the same for those 3 years.
So we should, the original,
Yeah, make sure that we say that correctly. On the background sheet, I got it right, but I
Right,
didn't get it
we-
right in
we
the
see
agenda.
so
Sorry
should be
about that.
24.
Mhm.
Is that a Rosemary thing too?
Oh, yes.
Can we
yes.
blame her?
Come
I
on,
think it's, you know.
come on.
Sorry, Rose.
Any comments, questions? Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the lease agreement for 1539 F Street Arcata 2021 through 2024 for NUHCS.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
I also approve, motion carries. 511, approval of lease agreement for 210 Lindley Road.
Did we lose Melissa? Oh, there it is.
Petrolia. I haven't seen that address for a long time, well, a year ago. Petrolia for 2021, 2022 for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
Okay, and this, there was no increase on this one as well. And this one, I'll say, we lease the land, but not the building. We actually own the building that's on the property, that it's a portable. And we own the portable. That's the only building we own, but we lease the land it's on.
Wow.
And if we ever leave that land, we will not take that building. It would not be able to withstand any kind of
A move.
travel, no.
Isn't it falling apart now?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh,
After all, it's been there, how many decades?
A long time.
What?
1997, the end of 1997 is when they.
oh,
So
Almost 25 years.
23 years, yeah. 24.
I mean,
And we got it used.
yeah. Yeah. And
Wow.
the road it had to travel to get to its current
It
location.
was a rough
It might have
road.
been 98, actually. I think there was a little bit of a, are we gonna have it before school actually?
Wow.
Open the doors, yeah.
Okay, questions, comments?
I do want to say any of these increases on the Humboldt side were also in the budget, already built into the budget.
Advance,
Yeah.
very wise. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement for 210 Lindy Road, Petrolia, for the 2021-2022 school year for NU Humboldt.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I also approve, motion carries. 512, approval of MOU between Tehama County and Northern United Siskiyou Charter School for induction for 2021, 2022.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, when a teacher first finishes their credential, when they first finish their education to become a teacher, they have to do what's called induction, which is 2 years of having a mentor and going through some additional kind of on-the-job training. And so to be able to clear their credential, they have to complete induction, and only certain organizations are given permission by the state to be like certified as induction programs that meet the requirements to clear their teachers' credentials. So in Siskiyou County, we use the Tehama County Office of Education. They have an approved by the state program for our teachers to clear their credential. And so we do have a couple teachers that will be doing this next year. Some of them are our current teachers that, actually both of them are our current teachers that they already did their first year of induction currently, and they're going to be doing their second year next year. But if, for example, we hired a new teacher over the summer and they had to do this next year, it would add to this 2 that I have said here. But as of right now, we have 2 teachers that would be participating in this next year. So and one other thing is we cover the cost of this for new teachers. It used to be that the state covered the cost, and then they gradually transitioned that to have the schools cover that cost, or to have somebody else cover the cost, not them, not the state. But so some districts and charter schools have the teachers cover it themselves, and some choose to cover it for them. We have chosen to cover the cost for the teacher. And I think that a lot of the rationale behind that is because there is such a teacher shortage that it is one way to attract and recruit teachers,
Yeah.
is if we cover that.
What is the
cost.
cost, sir?
This one, Tehama was it 3,500 per participant?
42.
42, okay, yeah, 35 is the next one, the
Okay.
Sonoma County one, yeah, this one's 42.
Yeah.
So Tehama charges 4,200 per participant.
You say that it's kind of an attractive way of
Yeah.
getting folks to apply.
Yeah.
Is that, or is there a statement on the application or the flyer?
No, that is a good question. We have never put that on our actual application. We just tell them, like,
Mhm.
in the interview or when they're
Uh-huh.
hired. But what's interesting is we did an interview this week. And you know how, like, in the questions, like the last question is always, do you have any questions for us?
Right.
That was the question that
Oh,
they had.
really?
is,
Wow.
Do you cover the cost of induction?
uh-huh.
Because that's something I'm gonna need to do. And, of course, we were able to answer that without any
Right.
problem. But that was the
Yeah.
first time that I have had that asked
That's good.
specifically in an interview. So putting it on the paperwork isn't a bad
Isn't
Or
a
idea.
bad
or
idea.
certainly on your interview,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
things
You know
you're gonna
what?
present
Can
to
I
them.
say
Yeah.
something?
Because when you do post, is there anything about who's responsible for the fingerprinting and the TV and things like that on there?
No, not on the
Well,
posting.
Okay,
Not on
and I
the
was gonna say,
posting.
if so,
That
that
would
would
be
be
a
a
good
good,
place. But still, there's always the part about like salary and benefits.
Yes,
That is
yeah.
like a thing to put.
Right.
Julie,
I just wanted to say that I had a conversation. We did end up hiring this young lady. Had a conversation with her today, and she brought up again how excited she was that we cover induction, and she has been waiting so long for something like this. So this is a really big deal to some
Good.
people.
That's
And
cool.
this one in particular, so when a teacher gets their teaching credential, they only have 5 years to clear it. And so if you didn't get a job right away, something came up or whatever, that's kind of permanent. Well, this particular person that we're talking about, she's got 2 years left. And it's no
Wow.
fault of her own
Yeah.
at all. There's, miscellaneous things that happened, one of which was the pandemic.
sure.
She happened to get her credential in the time where,
Wow.
it just
Uh-huh,
wasn't an
uh-huh.
option. So
Wow.
anyway, it was definitely a big selling point for her.
That's cool.
Okay, any other further comments, questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the MOU between Tehama County and NUSCS for induction for 2021-2022.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I also approve, motion carries. Moving on to 5.13, approval of MOU between Sonoma County and Northern United Humboldt Charter School for induction for 2021-2022.
And this is the exact same thing, but this is for Humboldt. And in Humboldt, The schools use Sonoma County Office of Education for their induction. And in Humboldt, at this time, we have 3 teachers who will be participating in this next year. And the cost is $3,500 per participant.
Are you counting our new hire?
I am not. I am not, so poor.
You know, any of the teachers that mentor these people, they also get a
They get
stipend.
stipend,
Yeah. And
You
the
see that?
administrator, she gets $100 per
Oh,
new teacher that's coming on.
yeah, you can see it in the breakdown.
Which brings up the question, how do you decide who is the mentor?
You know, it's not usually a very difficult decision. It's usually pretty straightforward. Like, if, for example, it will always be pretty much somebody that they're going to be working closely with, that's either doing the same job or something very similar,
Gotcha.
or
Okay.
at that facility. It's, you know, it's usually just kind of like whoever is, like, I'll say the lead teacher at the center,
Sure.
or,
Okay.
you know,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Okay. Is there a minimum requirement for that mentor
I
to be?
think there is. I think they have to have taught for a certain number of years, or maybe they just have to have a clear credential. Is that right, Julie? Is there maybe
5
They
years,
do
you have
5 years?
Teach for, yes.
5. Mhm.
Yeah, Rebecca is our administrator that oversees the induction for everybody. So
Cool.
she's the one that hooks up the support provider, you know, the mentor with the person,
Yeah.
gets the people all signed up. And then she has to do training. And then the support person, the support teacher, and the mentee, the mentor and the mentee, both have to attend like workshops together. and things.
It's a funny word. Mentee.
Mentee.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Kurt. Is that a hand, Kurt?
No.
Okay, all right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU between Sonoma County and NU Humboldt for induction for the 2021-2022 school year.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa?
I'm sure she's connected.
She lost, she maybe has lost herself.
Hi. Sorry.
Thank you.
Rosemary?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I also approve. Motion
She's waiting
carries.
to
Oh,
be
she get
called
a few
Melinda.
cards.
514, approval of Northern United Charter School pay schedule revision.
You guys are probably getting sick of looking at this pay schedule. We keep making changes. This, the one revision on this is we added at the very bottom, we added a position, behavioral support assistant, BSA. And just so you know, what has been happening with that is we've actually been contracting with an outside agency. I think it's Remy Vista. Is it Remy Vista? I think that's right. Remy Vista is who we've been contracting with, and so their BSAs have been coming to work with our students. But we were actually able to find somebody who is extremely experienced, who has been a BSA with the Humboldt Del Norte SELPA, and they were looking for a change. And so we are able to hire our own employee rather than have to contract with somebody else, but we didn't have that position on our pay schedule. So that's why we have added that, and so that we can stop contracting with somebody else and have our own person. So that's the only revision to the pay schedule.
Any questions or comments? No. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve 514 NUCS pay schedule revision.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Rosemary,
Aye.
Jeff,
All right,
and I also approve. Motion carries. All right, then, moving on to discussion items. 6.1 is correspondence from David L. Mooney and Company for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
Yeah, this is not, these aren't really discussion items. It's just informational, it's just correspondence, but I don't know where else to put that on the agenda. And I'm tempted to like start writing discussion / information items or something like that to encompass more things in that category. But these are just letters from our auditor, one from Humboldt and one from Siskiyou. And there's no needed action or response or anything. It's just, this is, I think it even says in the letter, this is actually like a legal requirement that they address the board with kind of a summary of their audit from this year, separate from the audit report they already gave you. So anyway, that's all this is. It's just information for you.
Any questions or comments? Well, the only other option for you would be to have it in your director's report.
Yeah.
So,
What about the consent agenda?
Well, it doesn't require action. It doesn't have to be voted.
Yeah,
It's
just correspondence.
yeah, it's just.
I mean, the other thing I
Yeah,
thought
only
about doing,
correspondence,
Yeah.
correspondence, it'd be,
it's not really a report.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of times on agendas,
to-
there's a correspondence section, but most of the time when you have that, there's nothing to
There's
put in.
nothing
right,
there.
Yeah.
this is board awareness.
okay, moving on to 6.2, the correspondence from David L. Mooney and Company for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School.
Same thing.
I have a comment. Note this because my sharp eyes, both those items on the background sheet say 6.1. Uh-huh.
Good job.
Yeah,
You have been redeemed.
We thought we were losing you. Might have bounced back, Rosemary. Yeah.
On the agenda, it does with the background sheet. So-
Might have bounced back.
Right.
Woo.
She's still got it.
yeah.
Yeah, I did good.
All right, moving on to reports.
I noted that, Rosemary.
Oh, thank you.
Section 7, reports. 7.1 is enrollment and attendance report.
But it's there, it's in your packet.
Okay.
I would like to say that I feel really good about our attendance for the year, considering, what this year was like. Our attendance, our ADA for the year really held pretty strong, which you guys know for this year doesn't really have a big impact on anything as it normally does. It affects funding.
Right.
But this year, we were held harmless, meaning we were given the same funding we had last year, regardless of what happened this year. But still, I'm glad to see that for the most part, our students held pretty strong with their attendance.
Did we have an increase this year, right? A little bit?
At the beginning of the year, we did,
Right,
and
'cause I
then,
know-
and then it dropped.
Yeah, so we had like a waiting list, I think. or
We
something.
did at the
Yeah.
beginning, but it dropped pretty significantly over the year, like if you see on the report. At the
Yeah.
beginning,
Yeah.
we started at 409,
Yeah.
and now we're down to like 374.
Mm.
So what happened is, as schools started opening, well, when schools were closed, we got a big influx of those students who didn't want to participate in distance learning.
Yeah.
And then as their district schools opened back up, they
Right.
kind of went back to them.
Hmm.
How is our enrollment going for this year so far?
This year, it's been pretty, so looking for next year, it's
Yes.
been pretty stagnant up until the very most recent, week.
Uh-huh.
And so we did a lot of advertising. I was going to talk about that in my director's report, but from what it seemed like from our perspective is parents either didn't really want to think about next year yet. They're also burned out or whatever. They didn't want to think about next year yet. So either that or B, they've all been kind of waiting to see what's gonna happen. They don't know for sure yet what's gonna be required for traditional district schools.
Right.
Oh,
They don't
wow.
know what the virus is gonna do.
That's
They've
right.
been kind of holding off. So we decided to do advertising now and a bunch again in August. We're starting again beginning of August because we think people will start thinking about it again then. But anyway, so it's been really like crickets kind of. No,
Right.
like not a lot of enrollment calls like we would normally have, with the exception of independent study. The independent study teachers are all completely full. But the centers themselves, not a lot of enrollment calls. But then this week it's picked up, and I think that partially that's been because of our advertising. We have, in fact, I needed to go down and get that. I have signs for you guys to put in your yards.
Oh.
You already got one, but I needed to give you one. Now enrolling signs are in your yards. And then we have radio ads. We have radio ads, and we've got ads in the North Coast Journal. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but so this week we've started getting some more phone calls, but it's been pretty slow. And it's not just us. I've seen reports on the entire state. The state lost several 100,000 students this year. And when I say lost, I mean they dropped from any kind of public school. They either went to a private school or they're being homeschooled, like true private school homeschooling.
Wow.
And so all, the districts, all the area districts enrollments, down and everything too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the fall.
So the follow-up story, I told Sherry this yesterday, I just finished a brand new shop on my property and it's sizable. Looks like a cathedral, to be honest with you. But we had just put the sign in for the school, and the lady came by and she said, "When does your school open?" Thinking that my new shop was the school that was gonna open on my property. Anyway, I thought it was kind of funny.
And in the past, hasn't there been a banner down here at the?
Yes, and we're doing
Water
that again.
towers?
Yes, and we're doing those again. The
Oh,
banners
good.
are gonna be done. Those were one of the things we decided to wait a little bit on. So,
Making that right now, too.
yeah.
And the
So those are
office is
coming.
gonna close over there, isn't it, pretty soon? Oh, no, they register here, don't they?
For
At the
register
district
for,
office.
No,
They
that's
register at the site.
they register in Honeydew. That is the registration office. That's where
Okay.
Roxy is the registrar.
Okay.
But they fill their enrollment paperwork out and stuff,
Yeah.
by the teacher. And the teacher sent it to Roxy.
Cool.
I just want to add something to what you were saying about kids sort of dropping off the grid or whatever. In Humboldt, in our school in Humboldt, we probably had at least 10 kids, maybe a dozen kids that dropped at some point during this year and for whatever reason have never resurfaced in another school, whether they moved out of state or just didn't enroll, or there might be one case of a kid who did enroll, but the other school was just really lax in requesting records or anything. But in Siskiyou, we didn't have any students unaccounted for like that, which is kind of interesting. But in Humboldt, there was at least, like I said, 10 or 12 kids.
Wow. Suspicious. Wow.
Okay. Anything further with the enrollment attendance report now?
Just that the final one will be in your board packet in August, with the June,
We'll
the
close that.
learning period 10 isn't in yet.
Mm-hmm. Today's the last day of school, in case you
Yeah.
guys don't know that, yeah.
Technically, yes. Okay,
Yeah, you reminded me.
7.2, the financial reports.
So this is probably your, in your packet, you will find your financials for May. It'll be your APs and your payroll for that month. For both sides, Siskiyou and Humboldt.
Any questions, comments for Tammy?
Good job, Dan.
All right. 7.3, our director's report.
Okay. Who is that little person? I don't know, but that was a fun little.
I don't
voice.
know, but they're excited about your report. That's all I know.
Well, this one's just for you, Fred.
Actually,
Yeah, yeah, he covered it.
Okay, so I just wanted to do a quick update on that AB 1316, which I forwarded, that email to all of you that currently it's shelved. And basically, the governor just made a deal with the author of that bill. If he agreed, O'Donnell agreed not to bring it forward to shelve it, that he would agree to continuing the moratorium on any new non-classroom based charter schools for 3 years. This June 30th would have been the end of a current 3-year moratorium on non-classroom based. And so now there's going to be another 3 years moratorium. So no new non-classroom based charter school could be open. And so there's still some independent study education code rewriting being proposed. So the way that schools like us, non-classroom based schools, operate is under the independent study educational codes. And they definitely have a lot of issues. There's a lot of gray area and kind of unspoken things that, like, we have made assumptions about what these things mean. And so we have gone that way for the last, 20 something years or whatever. And so there's some proposals to rewrite those. And unfortunately, it's happening at this time when all the traditional site-based schools have had to do what's called distance learning. And distance learning is not the same as independent study.
Right.
But because now everybody has kind of experienced this distance learning kind of model, they're being kind of equated with each other. And so the rewriting that's being proposed is putting things in like requiring daily face-to-face instruction with students. Well, everyone who knows what independent study is about, the purpose of it is because a student can't do a daily face-to-face. And so there's a lot of education trying to be done right now with the legislature that, like, independent study is not distance learning. And there's a whole reason why, a whole list of reasons why someone would need independent study, and distance learning would not meet those needs. And so it'll be interesting to see what finally comes out with that. So that's something that we're still watching. In addition, whenever the budget is adopted at the end of, prior to the new fiscal year, there's always a trailer bill that's attached to the budget. And it's basically any new laws that they want to kind of stick in with their, they make this big thing, they stick all kinds of last minute tag-ons, add-ons in there. So that's something else that's being watched very closely, is what's going to end up being in that budget trailer. Even though AB 1316 is shelved, there's still this independent study rewrite, and there's still this opportunity in the budget trailer bill for something to get kind of jammed in there.
Yeah.
So we're not completely out of the woods, but it's good that at least that AB 1316 was shelved.
Yeah.
Is it shelved for 3 years?
No.
No. You
Nope.
would think it would be even trade.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but you're right about them sneaking things in.
Yeah.
Every year, that's the way the game's played.
Right.
And unfortunately, it takes, due diligence to be aware of that stuff all the time.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's just a little update on that. And then I could give a quick facility update, though there's not a ton to update you on. There are a couple new possibilities of buildings that are either just for lease that we need to go check out, or even some that are for sale. None of the ones that are for sale really meet our requirements of being big enough for, all of our Eureka facilities to be in, and plus our records office. There's nothing out there that's like super, I'm optimistic about, but because we have 1 year left in both our Eureka facility and our Cutton Learning Center across the street. Now we're really kind of looking at even just leases, focusing on leases. So chances are we're going to just end up leasing 2 new facilities for those 2 programs rather than buying something
Right.
big enough for everybody. So
Right.
anyway, that's kind of, we've started looking at some of those leases now. Summer programs, I thought I would update you on what's going on with the summer, because you guys know that schools have been given money in an expanded learning opportunities grant to have basically, enrichment for the summer, kind of extended learning time for our students that suffered learning loss during this past school year. So on the Humboldt side, Arcata Learning Center is doing a high school credit recovery program all summer long for any student within Humboldt that wants to participate. Cutton Learning Center is doing a K-8 skill building and enrichment program for 2 weeks in August. Willow Creek Learning Center is doing a skill building enrichment program for 1 week in August. Independent Study Teachers Marianne Lyons is doing a high school credit recovery for anybody who wants to. And Kathy Shermer is doing a K-8 skill building enrichment program for a week is it the end of July, beginning of August? I can't remember exactly the dates. It's either the end of July, beginning of August, or end of June, beginning of July for independent study students. And then on the Siskiyou side, Wairika Learning Center is doing a high school credit recovery program from June 28th to August 5th. So for the 6 weeks, basically, of the summer high school student credit recovery. So that's the summer programs that are going to be happening in both schools.
On the high school portion of that, have those students, families been contacted saying they really should be participating because they're lacking credits?
It's yes and no.
Okay.
It's in various stages. Some of the programs have already reached out to their families and already gotten, the kids
Right.
signed up. Some of them are talking to the families like one-on-one when they have their learning record meetings
Right.
during this past month. I don't know, Kirk, I don't know if you know if Colleen and Donnie have reached out to the high schoolers on the Siskiyou side yet or not, but
I don't think so yet. I think they were going to start
there's in various stages.
next week, as they're just trying to finish up records in the year and all that stuff right now still.
Yeah, so some have and some haven't. Like today, for example, Arcata Learning Center, they sent their flyer out for it. So they're in various stages, but that is happening for all of them.
Right.
Okay, I already mentioned the advertising that's happening on the Humboldt side. And then I just wanted to let you know that our plans for next year is back to normal. School starting on August 30th, back to our normal programming in terms of in-person, full capacity, no social distancing. The masks at this point are unknown, whether or not we're going to have to wear masks next school year. But our fall summit is August 27th and 28th, and it will be across the street at the Cutton Learning Center. We've gotten permission from the landlord for that. And that all of the Siskiyou folks will be coming over. We're doing it in person. August 27th and 28th, and they're going to be all day long of, professional development. And then, of course, I'm hoping our board meetings will be back to normal as well, starting in August. All right, and that's it for my report.
Yay.
Well, thank you, Sherry.
Yeah.
Great information.
Oh, one last thing before I forget, because I forgot to say this last month. If any, Deb, this is so unrelated. Debbie Scholes that sits here that works here in the Cutton Resource Center. She has a lot of chickens and she's selling eggs. If any of you guys want a dozen eggs, she's got a bunch here in the refrigerator.
I think you said that last
Did
time.
I remember last time? Okay, well,
I
anyway,
think I remember something about
she
eggs.
reminded me again.
Yeah.
So if any of you guys want eggs, we've got them.
We just thought you were egging us on.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. 7-4, the Northern United Humboldt Charter School report. It's in your packet.
Mhm.
And is there anything additionally that Julie or Rebecca would like to add or point out?
Yeah, Jerry, just like to, call recognition to our beautiful graduation ceremony yesterday. We had the 8th grade graduation in the morning at 10 o'clock, and then we had the high school graduation at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I heard lots of comments from parents afterwards at how excited that they were, what a beautiful ceremony it was. It was so wonderful to be back to some form of normal again, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Just a really, really wonderful day with a lot of people being very, very excited, our families. And then the second thing, I mean, it is in your report, but I do want to bring recognition to the ORBI program, our Outdoor Resiliency Building Experience Program. The first high school cohort, which was 6 students, happened to be from Eureka Learning Center, have been participating in the ORBI program and just have gotten some really great feedback from not only the ORBI directors, Mitch and Shane, but also the students, because they come to Eureka Learning Center, just how wonderful this program has been. And a couple of our students who are foster children are part of this, and they are just making huge headway. And the most exciting part of it is, and especially for me, because the kids know that I'm not big on drama, is that 3 of the girls that are in this program, there was drama between them. However, because of this skill building, conversations, discussions, learning to trust one another, all of the things that are incorporated in the ORBI program, there's been this giant breakthrough, and all of these girls are getting along, and it's been just a great report. They found resolution to their high school troubles, so to speak. Those are just a couple of highlights that I wanted to bring out, though all of it is in your report. Some great things happening, the legacy walk, all of it. So anyway.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Julie. Any comments? Questions? All right, moving on to 7.5, Northern United Siskiyou Charter School Report. And once again, it's in our packets. And is there anything, Kurt, that you'd like to highlight or add to?
Not really. I think I got everything in there.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Kurt?
I have one.
Okay, Melissa.
I don't know if it's really relevant, but do you know, Kirk, why North County Siskiyou didn't do any kind of end of year anything this year other than graduation? Is it just COVID or?
North County, the program up there is we generally don't do like an end of the year celebration like we always did at Pine Grove, because Pine Grove is more of like a 4-day a week, kids are there all the time, elementary kind of program. In Wairika, it's really more sort of high school centered. We have some elementary students that come in part-time. I don't know, I guess we've always kind of viewed the sort of open house that we do every spring, although we didn't this year, but an open house, in Wairika, that kind of acts as our end of year celebration where kids are displaying their science projects, and we have a little barbecue and stuff like that. But we didn't do that this year because of COVID.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on to 7.6, board report. Melissa, do you have anything to report or share?
No.
Okay. Rosemary?
I do. I just want to thank everyone, the entire team, both counties. This has been a really challenging 15 months, and for the most part, I think that especially our students have coped very well, and it is because of the team effort and caring, the job that everybody has done. Kudos, and next year is going to be not back to normal, but better than normal.
Hmm.
That's good. Thank you, Rosemary. Jeff?
I'll echo Rosemary's comments. This past week has been a blessing to me for a couple of reasons. I was able to attend Siskiyou graduation on Sunday. I got to experience 2 graduations here in Humboldt yesterday. And I can only tell you that experiencing those, because I haven't before, just encouraged my heart so much. And there was times in both ceremonies actually kind of put me to tears. It was so touching. And to see the students, I mean, the light, I got to sit next to Julie yesterday, so she was able to give me some inside information about some of the students. But it just brought joy to my heart to see these kids come out of this year doing so well. I mean, and the same with Siskiyou. I mean, there's 10 graduates, there was 10 different stories, and each one was important to the reason why we do charter schools. And it just encouraged me. It just made me say in my heart, this is why I do it. I mean, it's just kind of nice to get, kind of that warm and fuzzy feeling after being so sterile for so long. And to meet, I got to meet Kirk. That was a blessing to me. I mean, I got to meet 2 other teachers from your side, and yesterday I got to meet, a good half a dozen or more teachers with a face and a name. I mean, all those things, it's just opening, and it just feels good. So, yeah, so that's been my week. I just wow, what a great, what just a great week for, being part of this. So, and the amount of work that you guys do, I got to see that. I got to see the reflection of it in our staff, and Sherry's direction. And I mean, the board's work. I mean, you got to see all that, the culmination of that. And that was just cool to me. So good job for everybody. I mean, if I could give you a hug, I would.
And I want to point out Jeff was wearing his name tag when he came to the Siskiyou graduation.
My new name tag.
Good, excellent. Now you're really.
I know, yeah. If I'd have had this, I'd have carried this around with me if I'd have had it.
Okay, well, thank you. Although we have one more meeting tomorrow, but I think it's fitting that we're concluding this school year by finally meeting in person, even with the mask. And I'm sorry it's not the same on the Siskiyou side. Your time will come, and I, just as Sherry is, as well as the rest of us, come August, will resume standard operating procedures. So that's something to look forward to. I just want to call attention to this. Thank you that was sent to the board, and it's just it's just validation of what we do. And one of the things that we do, we're doing things for the betterment of the district, which is, all inclusive. Every small component and aspect, which is salaries and health benefits, everything else. And so it's just really wonderful to read the comments and, understand how significant it was that we chose to, in one small area, increase the amount contribution to the health benefits.
Yes.
That's no small issue. Health benefits have been extremely expensive for some for a very, very long time, and there's no relief in sight. And we're just glad that we could do something in this area. And as we all had indicated before, we just wish we could have done more.
Okay.
But at least it's a step in the right direction. So.
Yeah, it's an unprecedented year, and I think what we've came through together as a team has been, remarkable. I mean, and not just to be stagnant, but stay steady, but to improve it. And that's just as good as it gets. Yeah.
Another thing, I had the privilege of participating in the graduation yesterday as chairperson of the board. I had the opportunity to hand out the diplomas, in that ceremony. It was nice to participate in that and see the different families that were there. It's just because I'm hearkening back to 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, when the theater was packed and, lots of family members, children, and cake at the end. But nonetheless, it's just, it's so heartwarming. It's so personal. The staff has made it, such a personal event, ceremony, unlike, mass graduations. It's just impossible to be able to do what Julie and the others have done. So,
Yeah. Same with Lindsay on your side, Kurt.
yeah,
Just,
I really
she
appreciate it.
was amazing. I mean, honestly.
Melissa had her hand up.
What's that?
Melissa had her hand up.
Oh, Melissa? Did you
I
have a
was
question?
just gonna ask, what that was a card that you had in your
Yeah,
Sure.
and Melissa.
Yours is in the mail.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kirk just mentioned that, so I kind
Yeah.
of put it
Yeah,
together what it
this-
was.
Yeah, the staff did a thank you card, and since it was just one card, we made copies for everybody. So your copy is on the way to you.
That's so cool.
Yes, it is. That's very cool. And lastly, in a way, this is old business because we've, from previous board meetings, dealt with dental and vision and how, okay. Well, just out of the blue on Tuesday, from Leah Campbell, do you know, and who's that? and to me, it says, hello there. The JPA North Coast Schools has decided not to charge the districts for the vision and dental plans of their current and retired employees. And I've attached the letter from them to show you that you don't need to submit payment until July 1st, 2022. So it just surprised me that out of the blue, it's the district secretary.
For what district?
Oh, okay, it says Mattold USD.
Oh.
So, anyway, I guess, yeah, all I could suspect is that somebody knows that I'm the chairperson of the board and
I think she's
And-
maybe
No,
just-
Carol is on, she's on the dental vision. So they're sending,
notification to Carol, because she gets the demo. So she's
well,
a
that's
council
true.
member. Yeah,
that's
that's why
true.
it was sent to her.
Okay, well,
Like, we sent it to our retirees that are, audited.
well, that's the explanation.
Yeah.
Sorry to waste everybody's time, but
But thank you, though. Had I been on that, it would have been important.
so that's all I have. So item 8, next board meeting. Possible agenda items, well, that's.
You already know them. because you
Yeah,
already got
that's
the
all.
packet.
22 hours from now, guys, we'll be right here.
That's all right.
And so the next board meeting date is tomorrow.
What time?
Is it also at 4 o'clock?
Oh, Jesus.
What's
Tomorrow's
that?
at 4 also?
Yes.
Same time, same place.
Same day.
Humboldt time.
even though it's all.
Yeah, tomorrow, as you guys know,
Oh, yeah,
is
the
actually,
federal.
right, it's Juneteenth, June 19th, which is Saturday, the government voted it to be a federal holiday, which means tomorrow, we're actually all off, but we can't be because
Well,
they
that's a
told us
bummer.
that today.
That's
They
a
told me
bummer.
Yesterday is actually.
Well, yeah, it was something that, just happened.
Yeah.
And,
But it is effective. Tomorrow is now a federal holiday,
That's
so
a
we
bummer.
had to kind of be scrambling to tell all of our employees
Oh, yeah.
that are 260
Did you tell
employees.
Roxy in
I haven't, I think,
No, I didn't.
You haven't done it yet either?
No.
Yeah, I
there?
mean,
Email.
But I'll get to.
We got the
call
email
Roxy in the
today.
morning and send her home.
yeah, I heard that, yesterday I heard that the vote was approved, but I guess I wasn't thinking that it was gonna be in effect
Now.
now.
Yeah, right now.
So I got the email today,
Well,
because
In the government, they could have said it was yesterday.
the president signed it just
I know,
straight
Today.
away.
yeah,
Straight away.
yeah,
Okay, anyway, so item 9 is the open session before closed session. And so we'll shortly be adjourned to closed session. And we're covering, it's a conference with the labor negotiator, an unrepresented employee, the charter director. So it's 5:39. The closed session, open hearing. Are there any comments for the item that we're comments on the item that we're going to discuss in closed session?
Just my same.
Thank you.
Standard
appreciate-
comments.
My same comments.
I appreciate that.
Ditto.
I do.
Commissioner, this is for you.
Oh,
So,
I'll take a picture of it in my yard for you. Okay.
just let me deal with the agenda item. There's gonna be a momentary break as we transition between the two. So, thank you, Linda, for your comments. Are there any others? And if not, at this point, it's 5:40 and we'll adjourn to closed session.
Just so you guys don't forget, you
There we go. Now it is.
Okay, so It's 6:05 and we're reconvening into open session. And I have nothing to report of any action taken during closed session. And so then therefore at 6:06, I will adjourn this June 17th board meeting. And thank you to all of you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
And we'll
Thank
see you
you.
tomorrow.
You guys.